What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 25 of the Yamcast. It's our, it's not centennial, quarter centennial? I don't know, it's the 25th Yamcast. That must be special, right? Today we got a bit of news from Triumph, Harley, and what's the last one?
Last one is from Aprilia.
Ooh, from Aprilia, which I just remembered what that one is, and it's going to be very strange. Then, of course, doing our call-in section, talking to our Discord boys, and then hanging out with them in our contest section. Stick around, it's going to be a good one.
Alrighty, so news. Would you like to start with Harley or finish with Harley?
I say let's finish with Harley.
Let's finish with Harley. Okay, so let's start with the Triumph Trident. We've got this piece of news actually showing the bike, the test bike.
Hey, look
like
at that.
They actually built one.
There's quite a bit to look at here now over that white prototype we saw recently.
Yeah. So obviously the paint scheme is just temporary with all the Triumph logos
it's all
there.
the camo stuff on it, but it looks pretty done, honestly.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty much ready to go. They just need to hit production.
The thing I'm noticing is the gas tank shape is very different. So praise be to Rossi. They have not reutilized the 2013 plus Daytona 675 gas tank once again. They've been using that gas tank for like 8 years, man. Did I tell you that the bolts were interchangeable for the gas tank between my race bike and the 765 we had?
Yep.
It's the same thing. So it's good to see they did that. It looks like the subframe's all new. And I'm seeing over there the license plate. That's very different for Triumph.
Yeah, putting the tire hugger on
that
there.
little tire hugger like the new MT-09 has. So that's quite different.
I do like seeing the dual discs up front.
Triumph would never sell a single disc setup. That'd be crazy. What do you think this is, Harley?
Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, they got your upside down forks. They got it. It looks like a good naked bike, honestly.
Now, one thing I want to see is let's see if we can get a glimpse of the dash and the forks and all of that.
So we have the dash right here.
That's from the white prototype.
That's from the white prototype. They don't have a current photo of the dash right now.
I wanted to see if we get some specs on those forks. I wanted to see if they were adjustable at all or if they were like the CB650 where they're Showas but they're not adjustable, you know? They look budget.
What is that logo right there? Is that WP?
It almost looks like the WP, but Triumph doesn't have a relationship with WP suspension.
Yeah.
They use Showas for everything.
Mm-hmm. And then I can see a Nissan caliper right there.
Okay.
Definitely the ABS ring right there.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Of course. The little mini fairing at the bottom's kind of unique.
The belly pan
The belly
fairing?
pan fairing. That kind of reminds me of the early gen, the first gen Street Triple had that. Mm-hmm. The little belly pan. It looks like it has a little baby skid plate too, with some holes drilled into it.
Yeah, that's kind of what that looks like, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really weird to see on a bike like that.
Yeah.
And it just looks like it's rocking a kind of normal tire setup. That looks like a 180 just from the picture.
I swear to God, those wheels look just like the Daytona wheels. They probably are.
Probably
the same ones. Yeah.
I mean, they might have some parts, but
yeah, at this point, Triumph, like I think they built the 2013 plus Daytona, and they were like, you know what, it's perfect, and they just keep making it over and over and deriving from it, right?
Is that the same? Is that a new swing arm?
It's a new swing arm, but it's very similar.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it is a new swing arm from what I'm seeing.
So we don't actually have any like real anything to go on. There's no numbers. There's no They have promised that it's A2 compliant, which they note here means an absolute max of 94 brake horsepower.
Yeah.
So that's at least where it stops.
I'm telling you, man, this is going to be Triumph's answer to the CB650R.
I think so,
It's going to be priced probably really similarly, and then with that 675cc detuned triple, it's probably similar. You know what I mean? It's the same idea, you know?
Without being, that neo retro look.
It's just neo. There's no retro to it, which is great.
I am kind of over the neo retro thing. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. I think we've had fun with it, but it's time to just, make cool bikes again.
I like the idea of looking to the future. It's good to just make a new motorcycle. So
the Bimota Tezzy 2, it awaits you, or Tezzy H2.
Yeah,
very
thing,
futuristic.
That thing is that's like too many years in the future.
Yeah. Well, our next bit of news is quite futuristic, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Is that time to move on to...
I don't think so, but I'm just alluding to it. I'm just prepping the boys at home.
So I'm really interested to see what this does to the middleweight marketplace.
I'm very interested.
The 650 marketplace. We don't really... The fact that middleweight means, 900 cc's now is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's anything from 600 to 900 cc's.
Yeah, which is an enormous valley. But the 650 class, I think it's a little stale, honestly. I like the fact that Honda has the inline 4.
Yeah.
I believe they're the only inline 4 in the middleweight class.
There's the Gixxis 750.
Is that
it is a middleweight.
Yeah, that is true. It punches a little bit closer to your the low end of the FZ09 MT09 part.
It's sort of there
because it makes 100 horsepower, I think, something like that.
It's 110, something like that.
Yeah,
but it's priced super aggressively. It's under 10 grand.
That's what you get with a Gixxer.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to price those things aggressively.
It's the same 750 derivation from way back when. So.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, also I think a lot of people forget that the Gixxis 750 is a thing because I forget that it's a thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I thought about it was when somebody called us and was like, "I'm getting rid of mine."
Yeah.
Which I guess that bodes really well for the Gixxis line.
Yeah. But this is going to be a great bike for Triumph because they don't really have a kind of entry-level sport bike right now.
Nope.
The best thing they'll sell you is a Bonneville 900, which is kind of a beginner bike. But, if you're looking for that, standard look.
I mean, the Bonnie is definitely not sport-oriented at all.
No, it's not.
So if you want a sport bike from Triumph, the smallest thing you have is the Street Triple 765.
Yeah.
Which that thing ain't no beginner bike.
No, it's definitely not.
And this, they if they want to make it A2 compliant and they want to play with that range, I mean, they could theoretically do what Yamaha does, where they have the Lambs mode for it.
I get this will definitely be a Lambs bike.
Yeah, they could put a Lambs kit on there, and then they could have basically two versions of the engine tuned up. You could have 50, 60 horsepower and 80 horsepower, something like that.
Yeah, but I think the triple, especially in a lower revving configuration, lends itself super well as a street motorcycle. I've always really liked more torque first triples for the street. They're really fun to ride. And it gives us something a little bit different in this category. There's no other small triple nowadays. Nope. This would be the smallest triple on sale, and it would give you some of that MT09, torquey, low-down grunt that it has, but in a package that's a little less manic,
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is going to be a very put-together... Probably there's going to be some budget parts on there, but I have a feeling it's going to feel really good.
Triumph always makes a really nice feeling bike. Yeah.
I can't believe that they're going to make something that doesn't work right. It might take them a year or two to iterate on it, to fix a couple of things here and there, but I gotta believe they're gonna knock it out of the park on this one.
I mean, you think about their starting point. They've been making great street 3-cylinder motorcycles since 2006.
Yep.
They have plenty of experience, and I cannot imagine a world where this comes out and it just sucks. It's going to be a great bike, I think.
Yeah, they'd really have to goof up for this thing to suck.
Yeah.
It's just this is a very good thing to see from the motorcycle industry, especially in this kind of stagnant class.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of some innovation going on in the 650s because I see the way that I see 650s, it almost feels like they're the next beginner bike.
Yeah.
You get a 650 and you don't keep it for a long time. And that kind of sucks because the 650s could be finisher bikes. They absolutely could be. We were talking about it today. They're 75-50 is the perfect number for the street.
Yep.
And if the bike itself is the SV650's okay, it feels okay. I really do like the way it rides, but its build quality is a little, on the chintzy side in some places. But this could be a finisher bike in the same way that the CB650R is a finisher bike.
I agree. What would be interesting is if Triumph keeps going, if this is super successful and they can sell a lot of them, it would be cool to see Triumph get into the small displacement market. Maybe hit the Bonneville engine with the shrink ray and give us a little baby 400cc parallel twin, and then make an entry level bike, right? Because I think that's the last frontier for them to kind of be a full line manufacturer. They make an adventure bike, they make a sports bike. They don't make a competition ready sport bike anymore, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I get it. The sales just aren't there. They're never going to make a 1000cc class bike. That's never going to happen. So if they can do a entry level bike, that would get them a lot closer to be a full line manufacturer and actually keep them pretty interesting compared to your kind of Indians and Harleys of the world.
I feel like you could do this in two ways. You take that, you either make a little baby triple, or you make a little baby P-twin, and you make a baby Bonneville and a baby Trident.
Yeah.
And then you have your almost like, the Rebel and the CB 300R.
Yeah. You call the little one, because this one's the Trident because it's 3-pronged, you call the other one the Chopsticks.
Yeah.
Because it just has the two.
Yep. And that feels to me like a great thing for them to have, because then you can get somebody in the Triumph life and keep them that way for the rest of their motorcycling career.
Because what I see a lot is people start on a small Japanese bike, and then the Triumph's kind of like the Halo bike, right?
Yep.
For a lot of people, a street triple is like, oh man, that's like my dream street bike. Like, sounds so cool, it's so premium. But again, if you could get someone in the Triumph line earlier, then there'd be no doubt they'd go to the street triple. You see that totally. With R3. People go R3, R6, people go MT-03, MT-09. They all, that kind of progression. So it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, no, I think they're almost working backwards.
Yeah.
Feels like people start with the little bike, then the big bike, but
yeah,
this is a good thing. This is a very good thing.
They've got some really cool bikes in their lineup right now. I mean, the Tiger 900 is a great bike. Street Triple is a great bike. The Bonneville is a great bike. They sell loads of those. So yeah, they make some good bikes.
The question is the electrical system going to work?
It should. It's not 2006 anymore, but you never know. I just hope that it does the same valve chatter that my bike does.
If it makes the same kind of valve noise that yours does, I'd take it back to the dealership. Your bike makes some horrible sounds when it starts up.
It does. When it warms up and it's fine.
Yeah, but you first turn it on and it's like, oh my God, is somebody like beating a tambourine with a hammer?
Very chattery bike. But let's move on to the next piece of news. It's a really odd one. It's from Aprilia, right? This
one is from Aprilia, and they have decided to make a big bore Nikon rival.
This is the weirdest thing, man. So, as many of you guys know, the Yamaha Nikon was this 3-wheeled concept vehicle that actually made it to market, and it was this experimental thing. We all thought it was going to be this wonky, one-off thing, but now apparently Aprilia wants in on the 3-wheel action.
I mean, so basically, from my understanding, this comes from the Piaggio scoot. Piaggio made the 2-wheel scooter.
Yes. You see those everywhere in Europe.
And then Yamaha, I think they have a 3-wheel scoot, like a little 300-something scooter. And then they were like, what if we made an FZ09 with 2 wheels? And now it seems like...
with 3 wheels, right?
With 3 wheels, yeah. The FZ09 actually only has the one.
It does,
The other's just a stabilizer.
Yeah.
So this is apparently based on the Aprilia Mana, which I've never heard of before, and apparently no one else has because it was never a big seller, and they have dropped it from the lineup. But it's an 839cc twist and go transmission.
What?
Yeah, so that to me means just it's a big scooter.
You should just put that in a maxi scoot.
Yeah. Just to go compete with Honda and their Forza 750. But this seems kind of interesting. They're almost making a training wheels motorcycle here.
Sort of, yeah. Because I mean that's a big displacement though, in my opinion.
Yeah, but what was it tuned to? I mean the Benelli 600 makes like 40 horsepower.
I think it makes a little more than that, but yeah, it's not much.
I mean, it all depends on how it's tuned, right? So,
but the thing about the Nikon is that it will not stand on its own. Mm-hmm. You still have to put your feet down, right? But it's, I guess, better. I've never ridden one, but I guess it's easier to get your feet down and not tip over, but you can still tip it over.
Yeah, I guess the point is 3 contact patches. You feel a little bit more comfortable in a turn.
Yeah.
It seems like, have you ever gone and seen one in person?
They're huge.
They're gigantic, and they are so complicated under that like
Oh, it's crazy.
They have.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Everything that's going on.
I could not imagine trying to like service the forks on those because there's 2 forks on each side.
Yeah.
And then they're like all on these like joists and stuff. It seems like a nightmare.
Yeah. That's not a bike that you can just pop into your garage and just do stuff to.
No, absolutely not. But I'm really interested to see who they think this is for.
I have no idea.
Because I still don't think who the Nikon is. I don't understand who the Nikon's for.
I would love to meet someone who earnestly owns a Nikon. I've seen a couple here in Austin, actually, just bopping around. Mm-hmm. So people own them, but I don't know who.
The curious thing is that this is all, like, the twist and go idea, I get for a scooter.
Yeah.
But for a motorcycle, I mean, why? Obviously, it's good for people with mobility issues or people who are scared of a clutch, but it kind of feels like you want at least something to do with your hand, right?
Yeah. I'll give you a quote from Greg Tada. He's a former Suzuki developer or designer that I spoke with a couple weeks ago after I made my Suzuki lineup video. He had a really interesting thing to say about this. He was saying that back in the 80s and 90s, you know, it was a 70-30 split on who knew how to drive a manual versus who didn't know how to drive a manual. Mm-hmm. Now it's like 98% automatic versus 2% actually know how to drive a manual.
Wow.
It's a very small number. And so I think for a lot of folks, if you think about it, who know automatic only, if they think about a motorcycle like, oh, shit, it has gears and a clutch, like that might be a little frightening, you know? Who knows? I think for us is like, you know, we learned it and it was easy, whatever, but it might be a barrier for some people. And I really think that it makes sense to start introducing some automatic bikes just to see if it, you know, kind of spurs on sales or if people are even interested in them. Like an automatic Ninja 400, right?
That seems like a half decent idea.
Yeah.
My question then is, okay, they start on a automatic motorcycle. Do they then look for another automatic motorcycle, or do they
That's the question,
take the onus on themselves to learn how to drive with a clutch?
Yeah, they go and get a DCT Goldwing.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Straight from the Ninja 400 to a DCT Goldwing. That's the perfect progression.
Perfect progression, yeah. But it's an interesting idea, right? And that's a good point you raised, where it's like, do they just stick to automatic motorcycles at that point?
Because there's few and far between.
There really are. I mean, motorcycles, it's like 99.9% of them have a clutch.
The only ones that I can think of off the top of my head come from Honda. The
electric ones, too.
Yeah, the electric ones. I almost don't even consider those motorcycles. They're in their own like little thing, which I know is going to piss all the e-bike boys off.
Yeah.
But the Goldwing, the Africa Twin, that like NCXT thing, whatever weird cruiser mega scoot ADV thing that is, it's like a 700. It's all in like the Honda world that are all these twist and goes, and I guess that's just Honda flexing their cash.
The Super Cub is a twist and go, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also a Honda.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't really get the twist and go idea. I do see how it could be a barrier to somebody, but
I think for me, if you want to enjoy motorcycles, you will eventually have to learn how to ride it with a clutch.
Yeah, because
then your whole world opens up to you. You can ride whatever you want, you know. But if you only know how to ride an automatic motorcycle, you're so limited. Whereas in cars, you're not really, right? Like, you can buy an automatic car that's still fun and sporty and all this other stuff, but you really can't do that with the bike.
Like, isn't the new GTR paddle shift only? That's basically an automatic.
It's been that way for like decades now, or like 12 years or something.
Which is
most of these super fancy cars are all automatics now because they know their target audience.
Crying shame.
It's just a refrigerator on wheels. Like, who cares? You know, it's so boring. Compared to like riding an R1, come on.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on.
Not only the fact can the R1 stomp all over a GTR,
it just feels so fucking crazy just blipping through those gears, and there's no comparison.
Here's a thought too. What do you think a quick shifter would help? I mean, they still need to know how to work a gearbox and a clutch to get it started. But
after you're moving, you don't have to worry about a clutch. I think so. It's like a shift assist thing. The Spark Plug tries that, right? It has that as a feature you can get at the factory. The new KTM 390 has that. You can get it installed. So, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I think downshifts is what still trips people up. That's the thing. So yeah, to your point, if you could eventually that technology will trickle down from the big bikes now, but like you get an auto blipper and a tiny bike.
Well, the Duke Adventure bike has optional quick shifter plus, which is up down.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So at least that's what I saw on the website. Was quick shift up or quick shift plus, which is what KTM calls their up down quick shifter.
Yeah.
Which
that's kind of neat.
Right there, but it's like a $700 option.
Yeah, it'll add to the price.
Yeah.
So, weird three-wheeled news from Aprilia, but what do we have up as our last bit of news? We've saved the best for last, haven't we?
Save the best for last. We actually have two pieces. We're going to combine it into one here. It's basically Harley Davidson is circling the goddamn drain.
They really are.
This is really bad. So we're going to start with Harley is exiting India. That is bad. So here are some stats, if I can find them really fast. Domestic sales in India declined 87% during April-June period to just 106 units.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Harley only sold 106 bikes?
In India, yeah.
India? How much of a period? In a year?
April to June.
April to June? That's nothing.
Yeah.
In a market of 1 billion people?
They sold 106 motorcycles.
Jesus, that's bad.
That is real bad.
Yeah.
That's down 87%. So that's
the article just says not good.
Yeah. That's putting it plainly.
Yeah.
This is really big news out of Harley because they just recently built the Street line for India.
Yeah.
The Street 500 was designed to get around the Indian and Asian country tax situation. Like, I don't remember the exact number, but at a point around about 1,000 cc's, you have to pay 100% tax on a motorcycle.
Which for Harley is like all their bikes, basically.
Yeah, and that's why they built the 500 750s.
Yeah.
The only bike that people could reasonably buy in India was the 883.
Yeah.
And that one you're still paying through the nose on tax for.
Yeah. And one thing I want to point out is, I can already sense comments maybe coming in saying like, oh, but, even though India has 1 billion people, it's like a poorer country and this and that. There's a very emergent middle class in India, and a lot of people have money to buy bikes like this. And again, you're talking about a market of 1 billion people. Even if like only 5% of them have enough cash to buy something like a Harley, you're still talking like 50 million people, right?
Yep.
My math was correct?
I think so, yeah.
So it's enormous, the market potential there, just because the volume is so big. So to even consider that they sold under 1,000 units to 1 billion people
is ridiculous.
Is almost laughably bad.
Yeah, that is atrocious. And from what I know, Indian folks love Harley Davidson.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen that in comments.
Yeah, and this is really kind of shocking, and it's another nail in a coffin full of nails.
Yeah.
But as if it needed to get any worse, Harley's also dropping the Sportster and the Street from the European lineup.
Yeah.
That's extra bad.
Yeah.
So,
because that's their entry-level bikes. It's probably the ones they move the most on, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Street series, the Street Rod is okay. It's an okay motorcycle. But it's fun. It's really fun to rip around on. And the Sportsters are the Harley Davidson.
Yes.
When you think of a Harley, you think of the outline of a Sportster.
Yes.
And that's... How could you not have... I mean, obviously it's Euro 5. They're air-cooled bikes, and they don't want to change the Sportster.
Totally.
But you need to put something else there for people to buy, because they're not going to run out and buy a Fat Bob as their starter bike.
Not as a starter bike, but one thing I will say is when I was visiting in the south of France last year in Saint-Tropez, one thing I saw more than anything else, besides BMW adventure bikes, that was like the only thing I saw down there, was Harleys. I saw a lot of Road Kings. I saw a lot of Road Glads, these big cruisers. French guys love Harleys, from what I saw. So maybe their idea here is like, okay, well, fuck it. These bikes can't meet Euro 5. We're pulling them out, and we're just going to focus on the big cruisers, right?
But how are the big cruisers Euro 5?
I was just about to say, I have no idea. I have no clue.
How in the hell are they making those bikes? Maybe they have worked some magic in the Milwaukee 8.
Yeah.
But, they're still
just
big.
Stack on a huge bread box at the end of it. Just like, please, God, make it pass. And the crazy thing is, it's only getting worse. Like, this is Euro 6 is coming right around the corner. Like, it's only going to get worse. So I don't know how they're going to make these bikes meet emissions. So again, maybe they're just like, fuck it. We're literally just going to sell to Americans. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But my worry is that this is the death knell of the Sportster.
Definitely.
I called this. You all told me I was crazy. You told me I was crazy. I'm not crazy.
He's gonna pull out the board with the red felt tape. Be careful.
Yeah, no, this is Pepe Sylvia. But this, I said the Sportster was going away. They have whittled that lineup down from like 5, 7, 8 bikes to 3. 3 1200s and one 883.
Yeah.
The Sportster's going away, and I don't imagine a world where Harley survives losing the Sportster.
No.
There's no way. They killed the Dyna, which was an okay motorcycle, but people loved it. Like, you guys love the Dyna. That's awesome. But they killed it, and they replaced it with these Milwaukee 8s that, yes, are better engines. They're more modern, but they don't feel like a Dyna. They don't feel like a Harley. They feel more like a Japanese cruiser.
Yeah.
And feeling is a lot of what makes a Harley unique. You know, because in a world where they're not a sporty, you know, performance-oriented thing, it's all about character. They got to rely on
something, yeah.
And that, what are you going to do if your Harley doesn't vibrate anymore?
No.
You know?
Then it's just a bad Japanese bike.
Then it's just a bad Japanese bike.
An over-expensive bad Japanese bike, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really honestly kind of worried about Harley right now.
We were talking about this before the podcast, and I think what's going to happen to them is they're just going to end up being, like, you know, in 5-10 years' time, a super niche, American-only big cruiser brand, and that is it. And the Pan America, for some reason, that will be discontinued by then.
Yeah, I give the Pan America 2 years.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make everything from, like, they're going to get rid of a lot of the middle-range cruisers, the like, cruiser category that they have, like, 11 bikes in. They'll pare that down to like 4.
Yeah.
They're going to get rid of the small bikes, and then they're going to make everything the 114 and up in the big bikes.
You know, it'd be so funny is if we get our hands on a Pan America and we ride it, we're like, oh, it's just a tall Sportster.
The Pan America has Sportster mirrors on it.
The throttle feel is the same. The little clamshells are the same. You want to bet? You want to fucking bet?
I would bet that the clamshells are going to be the same on that thing.
Damn, dude. Yeah.
But we were saying earlier how the idea that the Bronx was the way out.
Oh man.
They really
they had the opportunity. It was right there.
Yeah.
There was so much hype around that bike, dude.
They needed to knock the leather off the ball. They needed to charge between $10,500 and $12,000 for it, and it needed to be a very good motorcycle. But if they could do it, that was their way out. That was a motorcycle they could sell the world over.
Sell it with, like, you know, Harley Heritage racing colors on it. Yes. You know, teal with like the checker or something, or the burnt orange thing, right? Make it really loud and proud. Again, if they could nail that price between $10,500 to $12,000, compete with the 821, the Street Triple, the Duke 790, 890, that kind of stuff, that would have been it.
That would have been it. That's how you evolve, not build some big stupid dad bike that no one's gonna buy.
No one's going to buy that bike.
And it makes me really angry because it's so simple. But
I don't think it's hard. Like, that's... Yeah. Again, I'm not doubting the fact that I'm sure that Harley employs a lot of smart people that are trying to figure this problem out. But, like, damn, dude, it doesn't seem that hard.
No. I don't get it. I really don't. And if they could just go a week without ending up on our podcast, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be really great. I'm sick of talking about this shit.
Yeah.
Because it's really unpleasant for me to hear about a company that I really like just step on a rake every single week.
I still imagine a world in which Harley didn't end up where they are right now, and they sort of became like a weird blend of like Triumph and KTM, but for America. Like, they stuck to the dirt thing. They kept building better dirt bikes, made better off-road bikes, trickled down to their ADV bikes that they would have started making about 20 years ago, made good street bikes, and still made the cruisers. Triumph still makes the Bonneville.
Yeah.
It's still a fine little standard. You don't have to stop making that to make good bikes, you know? So I don't get it. Yeah.
It's a real crying shame, and it makes me sad.
Yep.
Makes me real sad.
So I don't feel like we're probably going to get more news like this and just be like, oh, you know, this got axed, or this is happening now, or, you know, now they're in receivership or something else. So we'll see, and then eventually we'll get a Pan America in the shop, and we'll be like, that's just tall Sportster.
Just a tall Sportster.
Yep. But with that, let us move to the call-in section of our podcast, and we're out over there.
God damn it.
Did you see that go bad?
I literally just saw it as you were wrapping up, so I was like, we'll probably just use this.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll be fine. Alrighty, guys, we're now switching over to the call-in portion of our podcast. We're wearing our cowboy hats because Spike can't see with the sun in his face.
Yeah.
Through solidarity, I'm wearing mine too, Didn't want to leave him out in the cold with this cowboy hat. So remember, if you want to join up on our Discord, hang out with us, chat with us, call in, do all kinds of fun stuff, participate in our contest, head over to YammieNoob.co. You can sign up and join our awesome community. Let's see what the boys have to say. Hello, you're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
What's going on, guys? You were talking about the Tramp earlier, and I just wanted to tell you there is actually a 675 still produced for the European market.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. They still make the learner approved 675 in the new chassis. That's right. Yeah.
Exactly, 95 horsepower, and you can restrict it to 48.
So in that world, does the Trident make any sense in the European market if you can get a street triple with the 675, right?
Depends on the price.
I think so, because a lot of people around here like this retro style that the Trident has.
Yeah.
And I've ridden the street triple, the 675 in the 48 horsepower variant, and it's such a good bike.
Yeah. No, I still like the 675 mil a whole lot. I mean, my race bike is the 675, so I still very, very much like that engine. It's a great one, yeah, and it works really well in that chassis.
Yeah, I've also ridden there is an A2 approved Z900.
Ooh, nice.
With 95 horsepower, and the Triumph is just loads better.
Yeah,
because it's just so much lighter and torque, and I don't know.
Yeah. When do you get off your A2 restriction?
Next year in May, I think.
Oh, it's coming up pretty soon. That's good.
Yeah. I have to do my practical test then, and then I'll be free of the restrictions.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. You have to do like a test for each level.
They got to do tons of tests. Yeah.
That sucks, man.
We just have to. It's so crazy how it is here.
You spend 4 days, 2 in the classroom, 2 on the range, and then you can go buy yourself a Turbo Busa.
Yep, that's it.
That's all you got to do. And then you just you hear people complain about us who think, well, you really shouldn't be able to go buy a Busa.
Yeah.
But no, more freedoms.
Yep.
Are you watching this guy park his Challenger?
I am, yeah. I just zoned out for a second. All right, Germinate 2, boy. I appreciate you calling, man.
No problem, guys.
All right, later.
Have a nice one.
See you around.
Bye.
He's always so committed. He stays up so late for the podcast.
It's
like 2 a.m. over there.
He's called in like the last 3 or 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Which, Germinate 2, boy, you're a good egg.
A good Discord member.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we should have those restrictions here in America, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
At least, I don't know if we need like an A1, A2, because like a 125 doesn't make any sense in America because our roads are too big and our cities are too sprawling. So at least an A2 system, at least an A2 restriction for like a year, and then get something else. I think that's a good middle ground.
I feel like we should cap out at 75.
Yeah.
I think 95 is a little high.
Yeah. Hey, Jacob, you're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
What's going on, guys? It's actually my first time calling in.
Awesome.
I think my Discord is Two Wheels Tulsa.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So I guess my first question is, I'm kind of new to track days, and I've got a RC390 as my little track bike.
Sweet.
Kind of a little turd, but I like it because I want to learn, the track stuff and get better than obviously move to another bike. But everyone tells me, RC390, you got to update the suspension. And since I'm still kind of new to track days, my first question is, what makes a good suspension and a bad suspension in a race track application?
So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, when your pace starts picking up, you're going to start noticing the weak spots of what your suspension does. And for me, a good suspension is a predictable suspension. On track, what you want is when you're getting towards that limit, you want to have feedback from the bike, right? And you want it to have to do things that is expected and things that you want it to do. So there's definitely times where, you can dial in suspension to be set up for certain tracks if you like the way something feels. That's another thing to think about too, is like, There are times that some riders prefer certain suspension characteristics over others, and so it can get kind of complicated of what a good suspension is. Basically, at the end of the day, it's whatever works for you and you feel comfortable pushing and getting faster lap times. Because if you're getting faster lap times and you're able to push and you're having fun, that's the goal of it. But me personally, like, I also have an RC390 that I use, and I agree with you. It is a massive turd, and I hate it, but it serves its purpose in life, and it does the job it needs to do. And it's still on stock suspension for me right now, but because I've ridden our Endurance Ninja 400 that I've been riding a little bit for CMRA, that has like a full Penske rear shock, full front fork setup. It's so much more compliant and predictable, and there's not as much dive, and you can dial it in as well. So the level of adjustability makes a good suspension, and then having a great setup for your weight and your preferences makes that setup. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but suspension is a huge topic in track day stuff, and so you gotta talk about it all day for sure. But I hope that answered you.
Yeah. I mean, like, I have my RC390, and like, the RS660 is kind of like my next step. It really intrigues me. I'm kind of a Euro snob. So, like, I'll have a fine appreciation for, like, small bikes on the track just because, like, as fun as a V4 is, like, I'm never going to, like, be at that point, you know. No. Obviously, fingers crossed one day. You know, you want to be like that. But I feel like rather than, like, dumping a bunch of, like, I know obviously the RS660 is going to be expensive, but then rather trying to, like, obviously polish a turd, get something that, you know, that is that Italian, you know, Aprilia, Aprisionata, you know?
Yeah. So I would say, as cool as the R660 would be for you, and I would love to ride one too, if you're meaningfully trying to get better at racing and track days and that kind of thing, get a used Japanese 600. That's a perfect next step up for you, and basically all of them from like the last 10 or 12 years are basically the same. They all have great suspension setups. They all work really well. They have great reliability, good parts availability, and you can just beat the ever-loving crap out of them, and they crash really, really well too. So that would just be my suggestion, but if the RS660 really does speak to you, I would say get that. So
Cool. Well, cool. Also, I was laughing at something the other day. I've got a Harley that's like a bobber type situation, and Spite was making fun of like the what was it, the designer shirt on the bobber. I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I looked at myself and was like, I'm that dude. Wow.
Yeah, Spite calling it anyway, like it is, I guess.
Peace out, guys. Thanks for answering my question. I'll see you guys next time.
All right, man. Later. Yeah, I think a lot of people get in the trap with suspension setup at the track where they're like, oh my God, like my compression, my rebound, I need Öhlins, this and that. It's like, no, whatever works for you and feels good, that's all you need. Mm-hmm. That's all you need.
I feel like you could probably write a freaking book on suspension and it would be basically worthless.
Yeah.
You know, like you could go on and on and on and on and on and on about all the physics and what makes good fluid and valving and blah blah blah.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, there's intricacies to it that I don't really understand at all, and I know like a superficial level to it, but it works.
Just set it and forget it.
Yep. Hey there, you are on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey Spite. Hey Yam. Doing pretty well. How about you guys?
Good. Just hanging out here. It's a little bright in Spite's face, but I think we're making it work. What can we do for you?
Well, I was wondering if you guys knew a bit about the Moto Guzzi Grizzo and had any thoughts on it. I saw a few on the used market that were pretty good value, it seemed like, and was wondering if that might be a good next bike.
Man, I gotta tell you, this is probably my first time hearing about this bike, so I don't know a lot about it. We're Googling it right now and taking a look. So it looks like it has the same transverse mounted V-twin that Guzzis are known for and a shaft drive setup, which is kind of neat, right?
Yeah. This is like almost like a sport bike kind of thing, like a naked sport bike. Is that what it's trying to be?
Yeah, it's on the heavier side. It's at like 550 pounds wet, so it's more comparable to like an R9T, I think.
Okay.
But apparently it's got very good reviews, fully adjustable suspension.
Yeah, man, it seems kind of cool. Yeah, to be honest, I literally don't know anything about these bikes, so I don't know what I could tell you, but I know that Guzzis are actually relatively reliable compared to some other brands, so you shouldn't have too many problems with it, but I know that they have a couple things here and there that you got to be mindful of. Didn't we include a Guzzi in a video that we talked about where we got to like, you got to be mindful of something on them? I can't remember what it was.
Guzzis have that wiggle back and forth because of the transverse mounting.
Yeah.
So they can squirm kind of funny. I don't remember I know I included the V9 bobber in one of my videos at some point, like a performance cruiser video. But other than that, I don't really remember.
I'll tell you one thing. If you do get this bike, you'll be very unique because I've literally never seen one, and I've also not heard about them very much. So, very cool bike. Do you know the power output of it or anything like that? It's a 1200 from what I'm seeing, right?
Yep, I think it's about 110 horsepower.
Hey, that's
with
pretty
80
good.
Pounds of torque.
Yeah, that'll boogie. That's pretty good.
It is 550 pounds, though.
Yeah, that's what our Sportster is going to be like, about 100-ish horsepower, 550 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll still go pretty quick. I like the idea. I like looking at it. We can see, just some upside-down forks here.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a proper setup on it.
It's a good-looking bike, too. I really do dig the style.
I like the sort of, it's got the frame up at the top that cuts through between that right there. That's kind of neat. Yeah, man, if you get one, put up some photos on Discord because I'd love to see it.
Thanks. One thing is, though, they never made them with ABS because they stopped making them in 2017. So I'm wondering, my first bike was all ABS, and I'm going to be upgrading. So I'm thinking, how important is ABS in your mind, sort of going like these days?
I think it's always better to have it, but it's not a deal breaker if it doesn't have it. I think it's important to know how to use brakes by activating them and sliding them and locking them up, and feeling what that feels like, and knowing that you can save the bike if it does. But it's kind of everyone's preference. What do you think, Spite?
Of my 6 motorcycles, 3 have had ABS and 3 have not.
You're 50-50.
So, yeah, I have had bikes both with and without ABS, both new bikes and old bikes without ABS. The real thing for me is having it on the front wheel.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of having ABS on the front wheel. I don't really care about the back. The front wheel is really important. But other than that, I mean, if you can... The best thing for you to do to practice would be some panic stop stuff in a parking lot. If you can nail that and you know how to modulate your brake pressure so you don't tuck that front end, you'll be just fine.
Got it. Well, thanks a lot, guys. That's all I've got.
All right, man. Thanks so much for calling. I appreciate it.
Talk to you later. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. That is really weird. I've never heard of that motorcycle before.
Moto Guzzi Grezzo. I've literally never heard of it. That's a first. And normally I've heard of at least pretty much all bikes at this point. Very few surprise me nowadays, but I've never heard of this.
I always thought that the V9 bobber was the closest thing to a sporty bike that they had.
No, that looks pretty serious.
Honestly, it looks cooler than the R9T.
Yeah, looks way cooler. The Italians know how to make a bike.
Yeah, they really do.
Trevor St. McGoodbody, how you doing, man?
I'm doing Gucci gang. How is you?
I'm doing all right, man. It's great to hear from you. For all of those at home, this is one of our veteran Discord users, one of the original Hentai Hornet gang, one of the leaders of the Hentai Brigade, if I remember correctly.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, bald, beautiful man. I have a question. You ready to answer this question for me?
I hope so.
All right. Ninja 300 and R3.
Absolute shit post.
I jest. Real question, actually, for once. What do you think is one of the best bikes that has a great comfort to horsepower ratio? Because I found, I had a CBR 1000 RR, and if I rode that for more than about 53 seconds, I felt like I was 90.
Yeah. Man, that's an interesting ratio. Comfort for horsepower. Because sometimes if you go super high comfort like an ADV bike, very comfortable, but you can't get super high horsepower figures out of an ADV. Are you kidding me?
Fucking 1290?
Well, there's the 1290, yeah. That might be the winner, honestly. 1290 Adventure or 1290 GT, the sport touring one.
Yeah, that's
the winner, yeah. Because it makes 160, right?
I think it makes 180.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's look up the specs really quick.
Yeah,
let's
do that.
KTM 1290 Adventure or 1290 Touring or Sport Touring, whatever it is.
KTM 1290 GT specs. Okay. So it is
128.7 kilowatts.
So
run those numbers.
128.7 kW to horsepower.
Oh, it's the sound of police.
172.58954.
Wow, that's so down to the 10,000th place on horsepower. Very accurate. That's got to be the winner, dude.
That has to be.
I can't think of another sport touring bike that makes that kind of power. I mean, look at the ergos on that thing. Like, go back in the photos of it.
It is a comfy boy.
It is a go down one. I mean, look at that. It's got bags. It's got upright ergos. You get a power part seat on there.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah, you donezo.
That's it, Trevor. Get a Super Duke GT.
No. The right answer is the VFR 800.
I did know you would say that, but I can in good conscience say that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you talking to your boy, and you made that one night that I snuck into your house and gave you a kiss very special.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. It was a night I'll never forget, and I'm still waiting for you to come back from those cigarettes. So you just let me know when the time is right.
I love you.
See ya. Always a treat hearing from Trevor. It was great that he called. I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, I feel like
he's very quiet on the server.
He called in on one of the very first podcasts many moons ago.
He did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And now we've heard from him again, and finally the sun is behind the sign there, so now I don't have to wear the cowboy hat anymore.
He's very on brand. Always about the VFR, always about the big titty goth girlfriend, always about the hentai. It's always the same things. Very on brand.
He has the Ahegao, like, sweatsuit.
He does. He wore it that one time we hung out.
Yep. Yeah. That was bold move he made.
Yeah. He's of nothing if not a bold boy. Yeah, I mean, the Super Duke GT, dude, that's, I mean, come on. 172 horsepower on a sport touring dad bike? What?
Here's the question, though. What about the Hayabusa?
The GT's got to be more comfortable than the Busa.
No, I was mostly joking.
But you are right, though.
It is a sport touring bike.
It is a sport touring bike, and it is pretty comfortable for what it is.
And if you put the heli bar risers on there, you can make it really comfy.
Yeah.
And it makes, like...
175.
Yeah. It's pretty darn quick.
Yeah. Get saddlebags on there, tassels, heli bar risers. Perfect.
Perfect dad bike.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Adam Wahid for mentioning me on the comments of his Busa ride video. That was great.
Nobody wants to talk to us.
Yep. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for this week then. And now we're going to move on to the contest portion. If you're listening to the audio-only portion of the Yamcast, be sure to go over to YouTube so you can see the whole audio-visual experience of the contest. Let's go on over there.
All right, so our contest this week, it was a little bit more one-sided than I would have liked.
I'm going to switch to my regular hat. 1 sec. Hurts my brain.
The shit-posting energy is too high. Are you comfy now?
I'm good now. Yeah, I'm not squeezing my brain anymore.
So our contest is we had our guys do another infighty little thing with two team situation, and we decided to go make a Harley simp meme or an anti-Harley simp meme. And unfortunately, basically everyone made an anti-Harley simp meme. I should have seen the writing on the wall, but I kind of thought that like Tube and Mr. Negative and some of our other Harley guys might have swung for the fences on that one. So unfortunately, we can call the winner of the teams here right away.
Yep.
Unless there are some real stinkers from the anti-Harley team. Which
so basically,
there are
for
not.
this week, if you made an anti-Harley meme, you will now have an orange tag on
You
Discord.
will now have an orange tag. But without further ado, let's dive on into our video of the contest. Starting out with Discord 138.
Says here, Harley Davidson motorcycles are like insane clown posse girls. Fun to ride until they take a shit on you. Wow. That is extreme.
I like it. Bonus points for our Harley guy on his dyno with the cigarette.
Yeah. I've seen that guy before. Juggalo culture is crazy, man. I didn't know there were female juggalos. Like, I guess,
absolutely.
Yeah, I thought it was just like a dude thing, but
nope.
Yeah, they're fucking weird, man.
It's a whole thing, but it's so like early 2000s too. Like, why does it still exist? You know? Because the Insane Clown Posse still does. I guess so. Yeah. So it's a brand that's stuck around.
But anyways, pretty funny meme.
Yep.
Kind of like an old school meme aesthetic to it in a way.
Yeah, it's a little bit chaotic energy. I feel like we can skip the effectiveness rating here. On because
it doesn't
even matter.
Yeah.
So let's go dive right into quality and funniness.
So quality, decent, crop job there with that and this and that, but overall kind of low qual. I would say like a 4.
Okay. Funniness.
I think like a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fat finger the keyboard.
Yep.
All right, there we go. So that is a 9, starting out a little on the low side there for Discord. Next is from Little Cowie Guy, and this one I couldn't tell, so I put him in the Pro Harley camp with a question mark, but it's not really taken a side either way.
Yeah. So it's like a top bottom type of meme. It's like Harley boy. Rode a bicycle once when 10. I'm ready for 1800 cc's. Non-Harley boy. Took MSF full AdGat. 10K new internet points. Or sorry, what does that say?
Hours.
10,000 hours internet research. I'm ready for 100 cc's.
I'm not ready for 100
Oh,
cc's.
I'm not ready. Jeez, I can't even read. That's quite funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the high vis and the clear. I feel like clear visors on a helmet with glasses underneath is like the surest sign of like kind of MSF AdGat nerd.
I wear a clear visor and glasses.
Do
or
you?
Sunglasses, rather.
Sorry, Spite.
Are
3
you
under the
calling
bus.
me an AdGat nerd?
You have a sumo, so it's fine. But on your old VFR, probably, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. This is... at least I don't wear the high vis, but I do. I have seen a lot
I
of
wouldn't let
high-vis
you do
around.
that. I wouldn't let you do that. I wouldn't let you.
So let's dive into quality and funniness here. I feel like that one got us a good chuckle.
Pretty good chuckle. Yeah, I would say pretty high quality, too. Let's give it a 6 for quality.
Agreed.
And then a 6 for funniness. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Next one comes to us from, and this is a two-parter, from Phantom 10792, which I'm assuming is probably your birthday. So this is our first part. Show me your war face. And then in a few seconds.
What even is that? It's just like a screaming, flaming eagle thing.
Yep.
It just says magnificent. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yep. And I feel like that's the one very true, clearly pro Harley one.
Yeah, that is pretty pro Harley. Yeah.
Quality and funniness. Originally, this was one big band. I had to break it down so that they'd all be visible.
Yeah.
So that two-parter is for me having to put it on.
one big thing.
Yeah.
I think it's right in the middle of the road for quality.
I think like a 5.
Like a 5, yeah.
Yeah. Funniness.
It wasn't really funny, I gotta say. Maybe like a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a chuckle when I saw it, but on repeat viewing, it's
and now
okay.
that was all the pro Harley stuff, and now it's all anti-Harley.
It's all downhill from here.
Jesus.
All right, our next one comes to us from a Purple Liger.
Harley Davidsons, because they don't make victories anymore. So wait, how does that make you feel?
That's
because I know you're very fond
true.
of the victories. Yeah.
I really wish that Polaris had backed Victory and not Indian.
Yeah.
Because Indian, they're not my thing.
Yeah.
They really aren't. But this is also very true.
Yeah.
If you want a real like American style bike, you can't buy a Victory. Makes me sad.
Yeah. So, classic top text, bottom text meme. I think for quality, that's pretty middle of the road. I think a 5 as well.
Agreed. And I also feel like that's mostly statement of fact. I feel like
it is.
Funniness
It wasn't quite funny. It was just letting you know. So, a 4 as well.
Yeah. Moving on, we have Pig Sticker 13, or Pigster 13, rather.
They said pig sticker. I was like, damn, brutal. It says, want to fix your marriage? Get your husband the vibrator he's always wanted. And it's a Sportster, of course.
Yes.
Because anytime, you got to throw the Sportster under the bus. Is that a 1200 at least, or is it an 883? Can you tell?
That's an 883.
883, of course. It does vibrate like pretty crazy. Yeah.
It is the most, aside from the Dyna, the most vibrational motorcycle I've ever ridden.
Dyna was unbelievable with that. Oh my God. You know, horrible.
So, another top text, bottom text.
Yeah. So that's like a 5.
Yeah.
Middle of the road quality.
Funniness, I feel like a little bit higher up.
A little higher, maybe a 6.
Okay.
Did German A2 Boy submit?
German A2 Boy did submit
God
this week.
damn it, I bet it's so good.
Our next one comes to us from Rambo Sudafed, and it's our first video.
There was only one.
Squid missile.
One. Are you sure?
Yes. They called it the
Hayabusa.
Why was it not destroyed with the rest of their fleet?
It fled as we set fire to their planet.
When you first saw the Sportster, were you blinded by its majesty?
Blinded?
Paralyzed? Dumbstruck?
No.
Soon the sacred pilgrimage to Sturgis shall begin. But when it does, the weight of your heresy will stay your feet, and you shall be left behind.
So are you sure that was anti-Harley? Because it seemed like the aliens were saying like I was a heretic for the Busa, right?
I'm not sure. It seemed like it could, because in context, maybe it's because I'm too much of a gamer nerd, and those guys are the bad guys from Halo.
Oh, he's the protagonist, right? The dude
Well,
that's being.
So that's I believe that's the Arbiter.
Yeah, that was the Arbiter, right? In Halo, and
and
the aliens are
he's the good
casting
alien.
him out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Harley people are the bad ones. Okay,
Yes.
I guess in that lens, it is anti-Harley.
Yeah.
Super well done. Super
yes,
funny.
I really enjoyed that one.
That's great.
I think quality on that one.
Man, that's like a 9, dude. I mean, that's great.
And funniness.
Also like a 9, I'd say. An 8.
An 8.
I got a good laugh out of me, but it wasn't like dying, you know?
Yeah.
It was like just really well thought out, you know?
Yeah. And he picked the right clips and the right voice
really
parts.
well done. And even I love the head changing as the kind of axis of sight change. So that was kind of cool.
It was a good job.
Yeah.
Good job by Rambo Sudafed. And that's our current front runner right now.
Yeah.
So next up we have Venom 2023. Simple meme here.
When your $15,000 real bike bottoms out on a speed bump and scrapes a hole in the primary. Ain't that the fucking truth, right?
Yep.
God damn. Yeah.
That'd be a real problem right there.
Yeah. And it happens too, man. I mean, Jesus. The Sportster, before we fixed the suspension, was like, this thing's unrideable.
Oh, yeah. No, it was
basically
real bad.
unrideable. Yeah, great meme. Super simple, but effective. You know? So I'd say for quality, that's just middle of the road, 5, because it's just a text and an image.
Agreed.
Very simple. But for funniness, I'd give it a 7. It was very effective.
Agreed.
And quite funny.
So that's 12. We currently have our tie in second place at 12.
I feel like German A2 boy's gonna break it.
Yeah, but
he doesn't do it for the prizes though.
No,
he does it for the love of the game.
And that dude is still. He's as soon as he comes off cooldown, boom, prize back to cooldown. So next one comes to us from TNTX Dirt Nasty, which is quite a name.
Wannabe Harley boys looking up at a Sportster saying, "Is this a real Harley?"
I also like how it's the 883 that he's got there.
Yeah,
very. Very pertinent.
Someone on your video today with the Indian is worse than Harley video was saying how you've never ridden a real Harley and like you've never owned a Harley and all this other stuff. There is no real Harley. There is no real Harley.
Okay, if the Dyna is not a real Harley, what is a real Harley?
I don't know.
And I have owned 3 Harleys. So up yours, guy. But to our meme here, I feel like this is quality.
I think a 5. Yeah.
It's a standard format.
Standard format. We know it, you know.
Funniness.
I think another 5.
Agreed.
It's sort of middle of the road. It's quite funny though. But yeah.
Next one comes to us from Per Hana. It is another video.
So emotional. I wonder if he filmed that video or if it was like some video he found.
I have no idea. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I think he filmed it. So if he filmed it, hats off. That was high effort.
Quality.
I think a solid 7 or 8. What do you think?
I think an 8.
I think an 8 for sure.
Assuming he made it, it's
I think
an 8.
he did, yeah. It seemed like it.
Funniness.
I think an 8 as well. It's pretty fun. Well, a 7.
I think like a 7.
It didn't get a real chuckle out of me.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Next one comes to us from the Mustafian.
I've seen him run Discord a couple times.
Yep. And we have another video here.
I love this one. I saw this one earlier. I cheated a little bit.
It's hair, whack. It's gear, whack. It's jewelry, whack. It's foot stance, whack. The way that he talks, whack. The way that he doesn't even like to smile, whack. Me, I'm tight.
So I remember seeing this video way back in the day. So that guy's actually an amateur skateboarder. His name is Jamal something, and he's made so many funny videos. He's a really funny guy. But I love that that's coming back around, because I've seen that video way back in the day. It's so good. It's so useful in so many situations. I just at the end, me, I'm tight as fuck. Yeah.
So I was wrong. I could see that as almost potentially being pro Harley.
Eurobike boys when their ex starts dating a guy with a Harley. Yeah, that could be possibly pro Harley, but
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I love how these get so heady sometimes. We're like, from what angle are we trying to understand that? What is the ontological implications of this meme? It has to be anti-Harley, because let's just take it at face value. He's just saying like the dude with the Harley's whack and stupid and not as cool as me with my Eurobike, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's anti-Harley.
But the way that I see that is he's all butthurt.
Yeah, about the cool Harley guy. Yeah.
So I could see it going both ways.
Again, we have so many anti-Harley memes that
it doesn't really
I don't
matter.
think it matters. Yeah.
But what does matter is quality and funniness.
I think quality on that one's an 8.
Yep.
Because it's a very underutilized video, and I love it.
Funniness.
I think a 9. I was laughing pretty hard at it.
It's
pretty good.
It's not his delivery, but the delivery is really good. It's a really great video. But again, this is what, it's just a solid meme format. Mm-hmm. Next up comes to us from German A2 boy.
Harley ugly, Cowie best. That's good. I love that he always films his own stuff, really puts in effort, all his drawings and stuff.
He's always doing stuff to like music.
Yeah.
On some level, he's
Germany, just start your own channel, dude. At this point, just make your own content. I mean, my God.
Yeah, you could do it.
You could do it, man.
Quality. That's up there.
It's up there. I don't think it's a 10.
I feel like it's like 8 or 9.
A 10 is like mind blowing,
Yeah.
I think an 8.5.
An 8.5.
We don't really do halves that much, but it's not quite one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, funniness.
What do you think?
I laugh so I see all these before, so my reaction's a little stunted here, but I laughed really hard when I first saw that.
Yeah.
I really laughed. So I think that's like a 9 or an 8.
Let's give it a 9. Yeah.
Yeah. 17.5. So that half point puts him
number 1,
right in the lead.
Yep.
There it is.
Figured as much.
Next one comes to us from Bad Assler.
All right, folks. I want to hear some ideas to breathe new life into this brand. Go.
How about a useless, fully fared adventure bike with a V4 in it?
A little too biscotti, but I like where your head is at. Next.
We could move all of our manufacturing to China.
Ooh, I love it. Next.
We could try making more modern, interesting bikes that might attract new demographics instead of relying on the same tired old shit we've been doing for over 100 years, where we sell sub-base model Trek at an extreme premium, and it doesn't become a decent machine until you dump enough money into it to change or upgrade every part. No?
Oh, wow. That was extremely good.
I like that one a lot.
That's really good. I mean, he hit the nail on the head, right?
Absolutely.
Like, goddamn. We try to not be like anti any brand, but fuck, dude, that's exactly right.
That is exactly it.
Exactly
and you really do have to dump a ton of cash into them.
When I saw what people were doing to get that 131 thing or whatever into the Street Glide or the Road Glide, Road King, whatever the fuck it is, and they're like, this is like the biggest battery. And it costs like 40 grand, and it does a quarter mile time that's slower than an SV650 by like a second. I'm like, why the fuck does anyone care about this? Oh my god. Yeah, and it like revs out to like $6 grand. I'm like, oh the fuck, god damn, dude.
And people gave me shit when I said that the Dyna couldn't take $7 grand.
It can't.
I mean, it could. You could rev that bike out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But you won't.
You won't.
Yeah.
But you
could. And it stops you right before.
Yeah. Right before it gets fun. It's like, stop.
Yeah. Sucks. All right, that was awesome.
That was great.
That was great. I think that's a solid 10 for quality.
Agreed. Yeah.
Very good.
Funniness. It's nail on the head.
I'd say so. I think a 9 for sure. Yeah.
Which puts Badassler right out front. Next one comes to us from the Prodigal Stranger.
Says here, yeah, I'd still be a Harley guy if it weren't for all the chafing. And is that Bruce Willis? Who is that? I think it's just some guy.
That's not just some guy. I think that's a guy who raced Harleys at one point.
Those leathers,
I recognize the face.
Yeah, those leathers kind of look like drag leathers. Like the leather pants are really quite something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for a quality...
I can't say too much about that because I'm in full leathers at least 2 times a week at this point. So.
Do you have baby powder at the track?
I actually do. Yeah, I do put baby powder on my because I wear a base layer before I put my suit on. I put baby powder on that before I
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you get crazy ingrown hairs. Yeah, it sucks.
So quality wise, I feel like
I think a 5. Right?
Yeah. Funniness,
I'd say 6.
A 6. Just Playing is our last entry this week, and this one you've seen before.
I love this one. This is so good. It's like Harley Boys be like, and then the first thing is like little tiny baby, other cruisers. Mm-hmm. Then you have the medium, little toddler. That's
little
Harleys.
Sportster.
And then the Dyna's, I'm a big boy now. This is really good. It's simple, but it's really fucking funny.
I really like this.
Although one thing I'm curious about is like those last diapers are for kids from 4 to 5 years old.
How are you not potty trained at that
point? Why is a 5-year-old wearing diapers, dude? Is he good? Aren't they supposed to know how to do that by that point?
I would think so.
I remember being 4 and knowing how to use a toilet, right? Like
I think that's about, yeah.
Yeah?
I don't remember much from that point in my life, but I don't remember wearing a fucking diaper.
Yeah, I don't think I was wearing a diaper. This is quite good.
I enjoyed this quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quality.
I'm going to give this one a 7, I think. Or do you feel an 8?
I feel because he went and tried to make the like logos and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think an 8.
I think an 8
and
is
also
in order
it's not a known format, I don't think, right? Like
I've not seen this before.
I haven't seen this format. So I think he came up with this all on his own. So that's really cool. So I think an 8.
I think an 8 is in order. Funniness.
Man, it's pretty fucking funny.
Yes.
I think an 8 as well or a 9.
Oof, boy. I'm thinking an 8.
Yeah, because I think a 9 is like I'm busting a gut.
Yeah. This is like a good solid belly laugh, but not like we can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
All right, so an 8, which puts German A2 Boy in second place behind. Oh no, wait. Yep. German A2 is in second place behind Badassler, but he can't win this week. So we have a runoff between the Mustafian and Rambo Sudafed.
Nice.
So Rambo Sudafed was our Halo cutscene, which was this one. And then the Mustafian was this one.
Oh, man. So we got to pick one, huh?
Yes. In this sense, I think that it goes to Rambo Sudafed because more effort went in.
I think so too. Yeah, the Mustafian Zone are super funny, and I liked it a lot.
Yes.
But I do think the other one, way more time and effort went into it for sure. So just on that metric alone, for quality, it gets the bump.
So I think that means first for Badassler.
Yep.
Second for Rambo Sudafed.
Yep.
And third for the Mustafian.
Perfect.
And I am going to check and make sure that Rambo Sudafed did not win a previous week. I do believe he was close, but got edged out.
Did we also have any limitations on today's contest in terms of time or that kind of stuff?
No, I was very uptight about it this week.
I know we wanted to make sure that we didn't ruffle any feathers
but
on that. So.
In the case where Rambo Sudafed cannot win, then our third place goes to Just Playin'.
Sweet. So we'll get that sorted, get you guys your prizes. Thanks so much for tuning in this week, my dudes. It's a lot of fun doing these contests, and we'll see you on the next one. See you later.